Hello, good morning, guys. Today we have the introduction session for machine learning. So, in machine learning, what we're gonna see here, like what is the introduction, like what exactly is machine learning, why machine learning is necessary for us to learn. Like it's just an introductory session. Today we're gonna see like what all the prerequisite important to learn machine learning. Like if you are a fresher, if you are a new guy who don't know about machine learning, don't worry, you will know each and every sort of thing that what exactly is the requirement for learning machine learning. And one more thing, guys, like if you want like a live session for all those things, okay, you can contact on this number, okay, for live sessions and all those things. First, let's start our today's session. So today we're gonna see something called prerequisites. Okay, so let's see some prerequisites before see, understand here, before learning machine learning, you have to know Python. Okay, and if I'm saying Python, you have to know all the things in Python. Okay, because randomly anything will come up. Like if you know Python, you have to know about its basics Python, you have to know about the advanced level Python, you have to know each and every aspects of Python. Okay, means like basics to advanced. So you have to cover all topics, nearly all topics you have to cover. So now understand it here. Okay, see, because now we are started with machine learning, later we will go on deep learning, neural networks, and then we later gonna learn something called uh, building an AI agent or AI tool, and all sort of things we will see in this. Okay, secondly, you have to understand, you have to learn all the libraries. Okay, all libraries in Python. So if I'm saying all libraries in Python, I'm saying something called NumPy. You have to know something called Pandas. You have to know Seaborn, Matplotlib. These are, like, you have to know this much of thing. Okay, Matplotlib. So if you know all these topics, then it's okay. Like you can continue to watch. If you don't know all these things, first learn these topics and then start this, because directly if you jump into this, you might lag around it. Like randomly, if something new comes up to you, you might lag around you. And if possible, also learn something called regular expressions, that is regex. Okay, then you have to know some math topics, like you have to be aware with something called algebra. Okay, you have to be aware with algebra. You have to be aware with after algebra, you have to aware with little bit slight idea of calculus, like basic calculus for now, like whatever you have seen in your class 11th and 12th. Okay, and then you have to know about stats and probability, this is must. Okay, like you have to know all the concepts of stats and probability, what is Gaussian, what is curve, what is like a Poisson distribution. There are plenty of topics and you have to know all the topics. Okay, you have to know all the mathematical topics. Then after learning this, after knowing all these things, okay, like the mathematics topics, algebraics, you have to know, see, this is optional, but if you know basic SQL, or you have the idea of SQL, that is something which is positive for you. Like when you do something called data scrapping and all those things, it might gonna come handy to you. Okay, if you have some idea about SQL, that is like that, but that's optional for this, like for this tutorial, that's optional. But if you know about SQL, that is fine for you to learn. Okay, after that, after completing all those things, okay, all this, if you have all these ideas, you have covered all the topics and all those things. Okay, then you actually can start machine learning. Okay, like things becomes pretty much easy for you to learn all these concepts. But remember, you have to cover at least this much of topics before starting this. Okay, so this is the prerequisite here. Now let's deep dive into it. What is machine learning? Let's understand this one by one. Okay, so understand it like this. If I say machine learning, if I say, guys, machine learning, so what is machine learning? So machine learning is like a subset of AI. Okay, so if I say what is machine learning, so it's like a subset of AI. What do you mean by subset of AI? So subset of AI means, like, here what you do, you develop some algorithm. Okay, you develop some algorithms. So what type of algorithms you develop? You develop algorithms which do something called predictions. Okay, that do something called predictions, or make some decisions. Make some decisions. On these decisions you choose like whether you have to pick this thing or not. Okay, I give you a practical idea of this one. Okay, I'll give you a practical idea of this one. Okay, when you are a child, suppose you are a child or you see a child. Okay, so in your childhood what you exactly do? Okay, you learn from your mistakes. You learn from your mistakes. Okay, so how exactly you learn from your mistakes? Like suppose some fire is there, and if a child touches that fire, what happens? He will burn his he will burn his hand, or something like that happens. So if something like that happens, he will burn his hand or something like that, will he touch that fire again? No, he won't touch it, na. Like if it is he is touching some fire, okay, touch some fire, okay, and if he burns his hand, will he again means touch that fire? No. So that thing happens with machines also. Like machines, what exactly they do? They do some observations, they do some predictions, they do something, and from the past mistakes they start learning those things. I'm just giving you an above idea. This is not exactly things happens. There are some steps. Okay, there are some step-by-step methods of each and everything. Okay, you can't directly jump into it and say that this will happen. No, there are some procedures, there are some methods, there are some ways. Each and every step there is a way. You have to follow those maths, and then you have to develop an algorithm, develop a model by which you predict something, some outputs. Okay, that's how things happens. Okay, so like from the past mistakes, okay, like you learn from your past mistakes, like from in your school. Okay, like suppose you have went to your school, and you have learned something called an English language. Okay, so if you have learned that English language, then only you are able to communicate with me, or you are able to understand me. Okay, why you are able to understand me? Because in your past you have learned English, and from there itself you are actually able to translate in your head that what exactly I'm saying. So you also have learned that, and now you are implementing this. So what exactly do we do? So we have some previous data. Okay, we have some previous data. So from that previous data we collectively take all the datas, and once collectively we take all the datas, what we're gonna do after taking all the collective datas, we do some work on that. So what type of work we do? So after collecting that data, we create a model from that data. Once you create a model from that data, you start observing things. Okay, like you start observing things that okay, this model is actually following this pattern itself. Okay, this model is actually following this pattern, and if that model is actually following this pattern, it means you actually can create a sequence of you actually can create a model which can give you or predict you some output in future. So from there itself you have to understand it like this. Like you have to understand from that model itself you understood the pattern. Once you got the idea of that pattern, it means after that whenever you implement something on it, you will get a new output of it. Okay, I know I have said a lot of things. I write it and then I explain you. So what I am saying, like you have some previous data. Suppose you have some previous data, and from this previous data now, what exactly you do? You give something called a training. Okay, training to your model. So whatever model you have made, so how that model, like how you are giving this training? Okay, like from that previous data you observe some pattern. I'll give you an idea for this one. Suppose guys, I'm asking you, like suppose you have a sequence like this: 1, then 5, then 9, then 13. Tell me what should be the next number. If I ask you what should be the next number, what do you say? Don't you say like 17? So how you are able to get this one, like this should be 17? So you actually seeing the pattern. Don't you think it's an AP here? 1, 5, 9, 13, then the next number should be 17. There is a 4 of jump here. So now understand it like this. So from this, like this is an easy pattern. So from this itself, like there are some patterns. Like two types of data you will mainly find it in real world. One is a numerical type of data, another one is a categorical type of data. Numerical means like everything works with the numbers. Categorical means like there are some categories whether this should happen or this should not happen, something like this. Okay, like maybe there are some categories like whether this person is happy or this is sad, this is cat, this is dog. There are some categories. We will understand each and everything, but understand this, there are some patterns. From that pattern itself you understand that thing, and from that pattern itself you start observing that what should be the next value that I should get. Okay, so from the previous data you train yourself. Now suppose, understand it like this. Okay, like suppose this equation. Okay, like when I put x equals to 1, understand it like this. So what I'm getting here, suppose I'm getting y equals to suppose I'm getting 10, x equals to 2, y equals to 20. So everybody can say, okay, like suppose x is an input, okay, and y is an output. So this is a training data. So don't you think like my model becomes 10x, y equals to 10x, my model is like this. So whenever some new data will come up, say suppose like x becomes like, if I have a new data which is x equals to 5, can I get a value of y here, that is 50. How you are able to get this? Like this is a test data. I'm saying test means like you're testing a new data here, providing some new input, okay, and getting some new outcome of it. Okay, so whenever you have a new set of data, you provide that thing and getting some new output. Okay, so this is what machines exactly do. Okay, so what exactly machines does for you? Machine takes all the means like previous inputs, start creating some patterns, start observing those things, and after that they generate some new outcome for you. Okay, so like the decision. Okay, now understand it like this. Okay, like suppose you learned AI. Now you want to make something like a startup. Okay, so what exactly you are doing here? So you are learning and applying something on this, and making some decisions. Like suppose like you have made any AI tools or something like this. This is just an example I'm giving you so that you can understand. Suppose you made any model. So what exactly means, like whatever I just said, practically understand. So from where you have made this? From the past people. Okay, so what is your training here? What is your exact training data here? The previous people that are already have done that thing. Okay, suppose you are buying a house, so wherever in that landmark or in that area, whoever people have bought the house, you are asked all those things like what is the price, what is the area, what is the colony price, what is the room price, every sort of things. Okay, how many rooms you have, how many square feet, what is the rate of a square feet, you ask all sort of information. And whenever a new data, okay, like suppose a new guy comes up and says that I want to buy this thing. So the previous information is your training data, and the new guy that comes up for you, that is what? That is a test data. So if you develop an AI tool, that AI tool will give you that sort of idea. Okay, like from the previous mistakes, you improvise yourself, slowly you improvise yourself, you learn from that. Okay, and then whenever a new guy, see, if you have, and understand, if you have a very less amount of data, don't you think it's gonna be a problem for you? Yes, it's gonna be a problem. And that's what you have learned in your stats. Like if you have learned mathematics, you have learned something called population data, sample data. So if you have learned something called population and sample data, don't you think, okay, like if you have a very small sample size, you might end up like not getting a good values. That may end up in something called an outliers. I hope everybody know what is an outlier. So you may end up in an outlier wala thing. So whenever you create a model, just remember you need to have a good amount of data so that whenever you create a model, you won't end up in some overfitting wala scenario or some outlier wala scenario. What is overfitting and all, we will see later. Okay. Now understand it like this. Like suppose I give you another idea. Okay, I know like I'm giving too much examples. This is just because I want you that you should be aware that what exactly is this. Okay, there are plenty of things that we will see later on, but for now just understand it like this. Like suppose like all of you have seen something called Gmail. I hope everybody have seen something called Gmail. So in Gmail there are two things. Okay, spam or something like a ham or inbox you can say. So there are spam mails. Okay, there can be spam mails or ham mails, something like this. Okay, so understand how computer or how a model understand whether this should be a good mail or this should not be a good mail. How you understand? Like suppose you have a bird. you have a word, and the word it means like somebody have messaged you on Gmail. So if the word have something like a lottery, okay, or something like a discount offer, something like this. Okay, so generally what we have observed, like something like this comes up, that can be a means a spam mail, or something like a mail which is like not good for you. So they just put in the spam box folder. And then there are some words, okay, if I say word 2 here, and there are some words like office, then there is something called meeting, office, meeting, or some job letters, offer letters. These are very much important for you. Okay, like if it is a meeting, that can be a, means like that's a important message na, that should come to your inbox. So what exactly I'm saying here, like suppose you are creating a model, and your model like this is like your model is like finding a spam mail or a ham mail. How do you define it? You define it with words. Like if your observations, like if you have observed like some words are coming like discount, offer, lottery, something like this, it means like they can be a fraud message, they can be a offer, means like not important message for you, so you can put it in the spam box wala folder. But if it is like meeting or something like that, that is an important message. So if it is like that case, you will put it into the inbox wala section. Okay, so from there itself, like I'm not saying like this, like I'm saying like suppose you have thousands of mails. So from there, like I'm not saying that all the times you will may predict like a correct output. Like suppose like some friend have messaged you, and maybe he used some words like lottery, offer, or something like this. Maybe this is important, but they may it end up in inbox wala session. There's something called misclassification can happen. Okay, but most of the time that is called accuracy also, that is called accuracy. We will see. I know like some of the points you might not able to understand here, but I promise you later when you understand each and every topic, you will understand, pinpoint everything what I'm saying here. But that is called like misclassification points and all. So that like if the accuracy is like 90% or 95%, don't you think like some of the messages if you are misclassified, that's okay. But like most of the messages or important messages, if you are getting into an inbox, this is like a very good model. So that's how you generally create a model, okay, and work with the model. This is just an introductory video, this is not like a whole session and all. In the next class itself, what we're gonna do, we can understand, okay, then from the next class itself we will understand in detail. This is just a slight idea that what is machine learning, how you do that, how you deal with that. Okay, this is just a slight idea I have given you. I hope everybody have understood like this. Okay, so if you like this, okay, just like go through the next videos also. You just go through it, and if you have like if you want live sessions or any sort of things from me or some help from me, okay, comment down below. I'll take those questions, I'll give your answers, okay. And if you have still have any doubt, you actually can contact us on that number also. So guys, we will meet you in the next session.